Hello everyone, Rick Malava here. My nickname in the forums is CTBRAM, and one of the users, Esoteric, was asking how he would model this elliptical shape, the bathtub here with this square base coming out of the bottom. And Dave and Jen really suggested the best workflow to do this. I'm not really going to be adding anything particularly new to what they suggested, and I don't want to steal their thunder. The only change I would make is Dave suggests starting out with a sphere or half of a sphere and creating the bowl shape, and the only change I would make is to start out with a cube and subdivide a cube a couple times to create a spherical shape and eliminate these poles at the front and the back of the bathtub. And then Jen suggests before you extrude out the base of the bathtub, extrude some thickness into the tub. So you've got an inner surface that maintains this shape and then the outer surface that has this base extruded out of it. So since I've got the video going here, I just thought I'd go through the entire process from start to finish and show the way that I would build it and the way that Dave suggests and Jen suggests. So with that being said, let's get started. So we'll start out. Here's what we're going to end up with. We'll just get rid of that. I'll turn the grid back on here, and we'll start by creating a cube. I have interactive creation turned on, so I'll draw my cube out just roughly there, and then we'll go to the channel box. We'll center it by zeroing out all of those transforms, and we'll make it a perfect cube, making all the sides 50 units, and then I can get rid of this grid again because it's now in my way. So we'll pick the cube and we'll hold shift right click and we'll smooth it. Right, and we'll hit the G key twice to repeat that operation, and what you can see is you get a spherical shape without having the poles at the ends there. So we'll go to the right side view and we'll select these faces and we'll get rid of those, and then we'll take this component edge right here and we'll hold shift right key and we'll detach that edge. So this is still one object, but it's been detached at that edge, so I can tick all of these faces right here, and I can pull them over here a little bit, and then I can take this edge, actually I can take this entire surface again, I'm sorry, and I can hit the R key and then hit the insert key and move the manipulator back to this edge right here. Just sort of eyeball it, hit the insert key again, and I can scale this out to get that non-uniform shape of the bathtub there. So now we come back to edges and we'll pick this edge and we'll hold control and deselect those edges, and then we'll hit shift right mouse button and we'll go to the bridge. I'm going to go to the bridge tool options. By default the divisions is set to 5. I've reset that to 0 so that when I apply the bridge we just get one polygon face bridged between those two edges. Okay? And then now what we'll do is we'll extrude out the base. So we'll come in here. Actually, no, before we extrude out the base, let's implement Jen's suggestion and give this tub some thickness. So we'll select the tub and then hold shift right mouse button and extrude, and we'll pull out some thickness. All right. Whoop. Be careful that you're just pulling on the blue manipulator here. Pull out some thickness. That looks good. And the reason we do this is now the inner surface of the bathtub will maintain this shape. Okay, we won't see where we've extruded. We won't have to clean up where we've extruded the base out. So now what we'll do is we'll come in here and we'll pick these faces right here, and we'll go back to the perspective mode and deselect the interfaces that we've selected when we pick those bottom faces there. And now we'll go to shift right mouse button, extrude. We'll hit this button to center the extrusion and we'll pull the base out, and then we'll take and we'll hit the scale manipulator to flatten that. We'll pick these faces, control deselect these faces, R key for scale, and we'll scale this side flat, and we'll do the same thing. We'll pick these faces over here, control pick those faces, pick these faces, control deselect those faces, and then scale the back side flat. And now if I go back to perspective mode, you can see we've got the square base extruded from the elliptical bowl. Okay. Now the next problem you run into that you've realized is if you have to smooth this model, this is going to become very soft, and all these edges sort of become very mushy. So if we want to maintain these tight edges, we need to add some control loops in here to this model. So I'm going to go to my Insert Edge Loop tool, and I'm going to insert an edge loop down here, and I'm going to insert an edge loop up here. And that'll start to tighten up this edge going around the base of the bowl here, and this edge at the bottom. If I hit 3, you can see they're starting to tighten up at the top and the bottom, but we've got still this very loose edge going around the corners here. So before I start tightening those edges up, I'm going to take advantage of symmetry. And I'm going to take this, go to face mode, and I'm going to get rid of all of the faces on this half of the tub. So I'm only working with one half of the tub, right? And we're going to need to tighten up this edge and this edge. And in order to tighten an edge, you need to have 3 edges close together. So I'm going to insert an edge loop here, and I'm going to insert one here, and I'm going to come over to this side and add one more on this side right here. So now what we've got is going around this corner we have 3 edges, 1, 2, 3. Going around the bottom we have 3 edges, 1, 2, 3. Going around the bottom this way we have 3 edges, 1, 2, 3. So all 3 of these corners will now, when I smooth, become sharper. Right? So now we've got the 3 sharp edges. However, we've also, in the process of doing that, created these 2 edges close together and these 2 edges close together. So when we smooth, we get this very ugly crease going right up the side of the bowl. So we need to fix that. So how can we do it? Well, the way that we can do that is we want to eliminate this edge and this edge, both on the front of this base and at the back where I am now. So in order to do that, we're going to do what Dave suggests once again, and that is the first thing we're going to do is we're going to split this polygon from here to here, right? And that creates 2 triangles, right? And we want to try to make the mod quads if we can. So this was the original edge coming to this corner. So if I split from this point here and I redirect this edge to where we've added the edge that goes along the side here to create our tension in the edge, you can see that I can now get rid of this entire edge here that was causing the problem. And if I get rid of this edge right here, right, by deleting that edge, I create a quad, right? So I've got a quad here. And I can do the same thing, right, if I redirect here. I'm going to leave this one for now, and you'll see why in a minute. If I redirect this edge, which was the original edge, to this edge, which is the edge we added to add tension around the corner, right, and then I get rid of this edge by holding Shift right key, delete edge, right, you can see I've created 2 quads here now, all quads in fact, going around here. The problem now is I still have this edge that wraps this way and this edge that goes this way, and the reason that I'm not simply selecting this edge right now, as you see when I select that edge, it comes up, and since I've added an inner surface, it goes all around the inside, comes down this side, and then wraps all the way around again. I don't want to inadvertently delete this whole edge. So what I'm going to do before trying to delete this edge is I'm going to come in here and do the same process on the front of the tub. I'm going to split an edge from here to here, right? And then I'm going to redirect this original edge, right, from here to the edge that we created to add tension around the corner, and do the same thing here. Take the original edge and redirect it to here, right? And now if I come in here and I pick this edge, you can see it just goes around the inside of the tub and ends there. So I can hit Shift right click, delete edge. I can just click that edge and that edge and simply hit Shift right click, delete edge. And then now if I pick this edge, right, it wraps around, comes up here, this loop goes around the inside of the tub, comes back down, and it ends at this point right here where there's a triangle, so it doesn't know how to continue and inadvertently pick this edge down here. And so now if I shift right click and hit delete, I've gotten rid of the edge that would have caused the problem, the crease. And I can do the same thing with this edge, shift, double click, and that'll pick that edge loop all the way around to that end where it terminates, and I can hit shift right click, delete that edge. And so now what I've got is all quads, quad, right? Quad, quads, all quads in my model, and I've gotten rid of that bad edge, okay? That was creating the creases, the edges that were creating the creases. So now if I go back to the object here and I smooth it, you can see we've got sharpness coming around all of these corners the way we want. And the only thing is it might still be a little soft around here. It just depends on how you want to see that transition. Personally, I kind of like it a little bit smoother here, but if we want to tighten this up, all we'd have to do is come in here. And since we now have quads all the way going around, if I add one additional edge loop and I put it right here, you'll see it'll follow. Right? It follows right around this surface. So now we've got three edges, once again, close together, one here, one here, and one here, which will tighten up this corner right there. So if I smooth it now, right, so now you see we get a sharp edge coming around the base and along all of the sides here, right? And so the only thing that remains is to take this object here and let's do shift right click and go down to mirror it in the negative X direction. Make sure that no edges got combined when we did that mirror, and it didn't. And now if we pick this object and smooth it, you see we get there is the square base coming out of the round tub, and we got sharp edges all around where we want the sharp edges. The only last thing that I would possibly suggest is coming around the top here. Once again, we've got this long edge and then a short edge and then a long edge, so the we're getting a really tight curve up here at the top. So if we want to try to add a little more tension on either side of this face, what we do is add an edge loop in here and another one on the inside there, and then when I smooth it, you can see that looks a lot better coming around the top of the bowl. And so there you go. That's the process from start to finish. And I want to thank Dave and Jen for their suggestions, and I hope this helps you in modeling the bathtub, and I hope you have fun modeling with Maya. Thanks for watching.